WWE truly has done the unthinkable. Unfortunately, I called it out on my channel many videos ago. We're going to go over what WWE just did that is a groundbreaking move that has never been done in the history of WWE. I'm also going to go over AEW Dynamite quick, and then some other news between both promotions. All of that here on Screw the Script. Welcome back, everybody, to Screw the Script. I'm your host, as always, Maverick. Let me know down below your thoughts on the stuff that I'm about to share. We're going to start first with the WWE thing, the groundbreaking thing that, honestly, I want to say it blows my mind, but with the current direction that WWE is heading with TKO, that is such a money-hungry train, basically. This is just to me, anyway, I don't like this. I got a screen grab up here that I'm going to show in a second that shows a lot of people don't like it. Now, if you look closely at that photo, it shows that it was taken just an hour. I actually took that screenshot yesterday, so I'm sure the numbers are a lot higher, but you can see that clearly, if you know Facebook well, the first reaction you see are the most reactions on the post. A lot of people are not happy about this. A lot of people find it laughable, which is, laughing at you sort of situation, TKO and WWE, not laughing with you. This isn't no El Grande Americano. WWE has announced that WrestleMania will be in Saudi Arabia, in a country where women are not treated fairly. I really don't know what's going to come of this. We've seen their shows before. I don't like any of the Saudi shows that have happened personally. You may disagree with that. This is huge. WrestleMania has never been held outside of the United States, but it will be held outside of the United States for this WrestleMania. Not the upcoming one, the one after, I should say. It looks like it was announced by the Saudi chairman. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name. I don't want to butcher it. But he announced that the Saudi Arabia will host Mania 43 in 2027. So yes, not this upcoming WrestleMania, but the following WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia. Let me know down below if you dislike it like I do. If you do, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you're sick and tired of the direction that WWE is heading like I am, and not only that, but the amount of shit-talking that a lot of people put out towards AEW. I think it really needs to end. I've said before on this channel, I'll say it again, I'm a AEW first person. I'm not afraid to say it. I still watch WWE, but AEW is number one in my mind. And things like this, and then the slander that I see on social media that AEW gets for no really good reason, is really just pushing me further and further away from WWE. To tie along into this bad news with WWE, I've got even more news that pisses me off. Apparently, WWE ticket prices are expected to keep rising, says a TKO president, Mark Shapiro. And here's a quote for you in this screenshot that I have up above. WWE is not where the UFC is yet, as you know, on ticket yield. We have our work to do there, but we've seen a meaningful increase, as evident by the 59% margin we did second quarter, and, it goes on and on. The PLE is mostly in stadiums, so it's not apples to apples, but of course, they have a lot more volume with Raw and SmackDown and NXT happening on a weekly basis, 52 weeks a year. We know we have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. I cannot believe that I read that and now rereading it, and the thought in my mind, especially with the shit that it's going against Vince and his allegations, is that, am I really here saying that I'm happy what Vince did then? I can't stand Vince McMahon. I do not condone his actions that he has. I hope he gets punished for them. But that last sentence saying Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families, and now TKO basically fully admits here the president basically saying we're not gonna primarily target families anymore, which WWE has been for 15 years roughly, or actually probably even more now. They're going to outprice families. They're going to outprice the middle class. They're basically targeting the upper middle class to the the rich, basically, the wealthy. And the events are going to start to look just like UFC events. All the front row tickets are going to be celebrities and rich people. And, if you don't shell out $1,000 per ticket, you're basically in nosebleeds. And I think that's a fucking joke. And to tie into that, which ties into the first point, all of these kind of tie in together, I think. It's no coincidence that this past Raw, not this very past Raw, I believe, because it takes a week for these numbers to come out. Raw of September 1st drew only 2.4 million global views on Netflix. Lowest number since moving to Netflix. Another screen grab up there says it's a 59% drop from the initial episode. And the funny thing is, to me here, you see so many WWE stans that don't want to talk about this stuff. It doesn't fit their rhetoric or their narrative when they say, oh, AEW is going under. Like, they've been saying and spewing that shit for 6 years, yet they won't acknowledge the fact that the product that they love so much is also, in their mind and using their own rhetoric against them, is also going down the shitter. I mean, they can't be so hypocritical to point out AEW's issues if they think their issues are views and streams and all that stuff weekly, when Raw on Netflix, and may I add, Netflix is the biggest streaming service in the world. It is available on, I think, over 100 countries. 2.4 million. To put that in perspective, 10, 15 years ago, that's how much they did on a weekly episode of Raw on USA, just when it was on cable. They averaged, 2 to 3 million. They can't even get that on the biggest streaming platform. And that shows you that their shit is not working, but they don't care because they're pricing people out so high that those 2.4 million people, it's gonna even out at one point with how much they're increasing ticket prices. Of those 2.4 million people, how many of those people are going to go to live events compared to the people that used to watch it when it first moved to Netflix, and it just kept going down and down and down? It plateaued for a little bit, but it kept going down, and we have proof here at 2.4 million. But again, with ticket prices going up, I don't think TKO cares. If they have 100,000 people that are willing to spend $1,000 a ticket, it doesn't matter if they used to have $500,000 or 500,000 people that were willing to spend $100 on a ticket, because eventually to them it's going to even out. So they really don't care about your dollar. They really don't care about your hard-earned money. And not only that, they're going to put out mid-level quality wrestling, honestly below average quality wrestling in my mind for their weekly shows. It's so hard to get through a SmackDown. Unbelievable how hard it is to get through a SmackDown. Most Raws as well. I haven't watched Raw in 2 months now. I just watched the highlights on YouTube. And even those highlight videos that are, 15, 20 minutes long, I sometimes have a hard time getting through that even. This is insane. Let me know down below what you think on that. Now going on to AEW news that's actually tied into WWE a little bit here. There's an interview with Bryan Danielson on a Ned and Josh podcast, and he says certain people in WWE clearly don't want AEW to exist. There's a quote for you up there if you want to pause and read that. Otherwise, I actually have a video that I'm going to share right here.
There's this narrative online that WWE is trying to counter-program AEW.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
They're moving pay-per-views on the same dates as you guys.
AEW existing has changed the landscape for wrestling for the wrestlers themselves. So it's like wrestlers are being paid more now than ever. Because if they don't, the talent's going to leave and go to AEW.
It almost shows that they respect how big of a threat you guys are in the industry.
But it's interesting because we're not at the point of being a threat. People who really crave power and a lot of money play these weird games that I don't understand. It's like, okay, we're going to run all the competitors out of this business. Why? It's good for the wrestlers, both in AEW and in WWE. It's been good for them. Like, if AEW wouldn't have started, would Cody Rhodes be where he is right now? No. They have a megastar because AEW exists. Would CM Punk ever have come back? Probably not.
And there you have it. And what I have to say to that is yes. Yes, he is correct. And he's basically calling out WWE like I've called out WWE, who's trying to monopolize pro wrestling. And all I have to say to that is fuck you, TKO. Now on quickly going over AEW Dynamite, there's a card up there that happened. The big takeaway that I have, 3 takeaways. Ricochet and Shelton Benjamin had an insanely talented singles match. Tony Storm is still the best thing in women's pro wrestling. And then of all the other things that happened, the main event was goofy. It was funny. The Young Bucks really, overselling at this point, this gimmick, but I don't care. I love it, and I hope it keeps going for a while. We saw BTE come back. It's kind of tying in. We saw a backstage promo with them sitting in catering and just all this funny stuff. But for me, the really, really big thing was Danny Garcia turning heel and joining the Death Riders. I'm really curious to see where that goes. He helped Moxley jump Darby Allin to close out the show. The crowd was pretty much stunned, and I think this is good for AEW going forward. It's bringing freshness to their storylines. Many people want Death Riders to go away. I can't stand them, but I think it's because they're so good at being heels. So I'm curious where to see this Darby Allin, Jon Moxley, and now Danny Garcia stuff goes. We also saw this AEW Unified Championship Tournament final, and you see Okada is in there. So it's interesting to see that you can have him lose the title potentially if he doesn't, in fact, move on with his match against Michael Oku that's on Collision this upcoming Saturday. We all know it's going to be him. If I'm going to predict the three-way match, it's going to be Okada, it's going to be Takeshita, and it's going to be probably the Beast Mortos. And this is the slow bleed that I was talking about of Takeshita possibly turning face. I was right about Danny Garcia, not about how it happened, because I called it happening against Nigel, and it happened just a few weeks later. Earlier on my channel, a few episodes ago, I called this Takeshita slowly turning face. It's going to come down to Okada, Takeshita, and Mortos most likely for a three-way match at All Out. And some funny, goofy shit's probably going to happen. Some interesting stuff's going to happen in the match where Okada retains, probably by the use of Takeshita in a way of, using him as a crutch and using the Don Callis family to retain that title. And I don't think Takeshi's going to take it lightly. I don't think he's going to like it, and I think he's going to take it personally. And then after All Out, we will probably on the following Dynamite or Collision after All Out, we will see the slow build of Takeshita turning face, take another level up on that ladder to being a face. And I still think by Revolution come February or early March, whenever they're going to have that in a few months or so from now, that's where you're going to see that match, and that's where you're going to see someone finally dethrone Okada for that unified belt. Last thing that I wanted to talk about, All Out 2025 will officially be the highest attended All Out pay-per-view in the history of AEW. Yet another positive thing for AEW. This also includes a third consecutive $1 million gate, which AEW has never done before. That is great news for AEW. Let me know down below what your favorite match or most hyped for match that you want to see on the card. That's all I have on this episode of Screw the Script. Let me know down below your comments again on everything that is talked about. Let me know your views on it. If you agree or disagree with any of it. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Maverick. Thanks for watching.